Welcome to my channel. I'm Gary Wuryawan, and today is just a very short video of my opinion and reaction of some of the new Micro Four Thirds releases from OM System. So if you guys haven't known yet, OM System just released three new Micro Four Thirds products. First is the OM-1 Mark II camera body, and then the other is the OM-150 to 600mm telephoto lens, and then last but not least is the OM-9 to 18mm wide angle lens. I just want to share my perspective, my point of view about these products. These are not review. I don't have any experience with these products yet, but nevertheless, I think they are really exciting. First, I want to talk about the OM-1 Mark II. So this is like the flagship camera body from OM System, and this is like the predecessor to the OM-1. I'm not really too familiar with the OM-1, but there are some key specifications that really caught my eyes. I won't go into the full specification and the full details, but some of the specs that I think are really interesting are the 8.5 stops of in-body stabilizer, and then the enhanced autofocus performance with some AI computational photography thingy going on in the camera, and then also the digital ND filter capabilities that really caught my eyes, and then also the price, 2,400 US dollars or thereabouts. Now, I have to say that I don't really have any experience with the OM-1, but many people say that it's a great camera. However, many people also say that OM-1 Mark II is just a very minor upgrade compared to the OM-1. I read on some websites, I read on the 43rumors.com and some other articles. They're not really excited about the OM-1 Mark II. However, I would like to say that this is all just a matter of perspective. If we don't compare the OM-1 Mark II to the older OM-1, then we can see that by itself, the OM-1 Mark II is a great camera. It has a lot of headline features that I think are really interesting, and I think it would do really well if we don't look back at the OM-1. So yeah, regardless of the minor spec bump or not, this is still an exciting release for me personally. However, some of you who already followed my channel might already know that I am into smaller camera bodies that has lots of features and packs a lot of punch. So unfortunately, OM-1 Mark II is not really for me. It's not really that big if you compare it to full frame camera bodies or APS-C camera bodies, but for a Micro Four Thirds camera, it is a little bit too big for me personally. I like something in the vein of the Panasonic GX9, GX85, or maybe the OM System EPL series or the Pan F Mark II. I'm really hoping for this kind of cameras in the future. Maybe they will release it someday. I can just cross my finger because I'd like to have these smaller but advanced, intermediate cameras rather than having this big professional flagship level camera bodies for Micro Four Thirds, because I do a lot of travel photography and I want my camera to be as small, as light as possible, but still packs a lot of punch, as I said earlier. Not something that's too big that will constrict me and burden me down with the weight and the size. Next is the new OM-150 to 600mm f5 to f6.3 telephoto lens. I think this is an exciting new lens. However, many people say that this is just a rebranded Sigma 150 to 600mm lens for full frame that they put a Micro Four Thirds mount on it. Well, if that is true, then that's kind of disappointing. However, I still think that this is a good thing because we never have a Micro Four Thirds lens with this kind of focal length before, 600mm in Micro Four Thirds term, or about 1200mm in full frame term. And also, we don't need to use an adapter to use this lens. That's always a good thing. A new native telephoto Micro Four Thirds lens. For me personally, the problem isn't really about the fact that this is just a rebranded Sigma 150 to 600mm. That's fine for me because it's still a native Micro Four Thirds lens. However, the problem is the price. It is significantly more expensive compared to the Sigma 150 to 600mm. So yeah, that makes me scratch my head a little bit. But anyway, I'm not really interested in this lens because I'm not doing a lot of ultra telephoto photography anyway. And even if I do, I still have my Panasonic 100 to 300 millimeter lens. It's working just fine. So yeah, I'm just going to skip this lens. Last but not least, I want to talk about the OM system 9 to 18 millimeter f4 to f5.6 Mark II. Now, this is the lens that I'm most interested about. This really aligns with my personal philosophy of smaller camera gear because actually it looks really small and yeah, almost the same size as the original 9 to 18 millimeter. A lot of people have been talking a lot about the new OM-150 to 600 millimeter lens, also about the new OM-1 Mark II camera body, but not a lot of people has been talking about this particular lens. So there's not been a lot of information about the specification of the new OM system 9 to 18 millimeter. However, if you guys followed my channel, you might already know that I have this half dead Olympus 9 to 18 millimeter lens, the older version of the lens that I'm talking about. This lens suffers from the ribbon cable issue, from the flex cable issue. So now whenever I zoom this lens past 14 millimeter, the autofocus will start to get jittery and it will not be able to focus at all. So what I'm hoping from this new OM9 to 18 millimeter lens is not only the cosmetic upgrade, you know, the all black stealthy kind of look, but I also hope that they will fix this ribbon cable issue so that the lens will become more reliable for long-term use. I know that many people aren't really interested in this lens because looking at the spec, besides of the cosmetic upgrade, there's nothing really else going on with the new OM system 9 to 18 millimeter lens. However, I still think that this is an important release. Micro Four Thirds really need a good, solid, travel ultra-wide angle zoom lens because the strength of Micro Four Thirds actually still lies on the smaller camera bodies and smaller lenses. They are perfect for travel photography because they can help you to save some space and weight inside your carry-on bag, and you can still get a significantly better image quality compared when you're using your smartphone. So, as you can already tell, if I have to pick one favorite out of these three new releases today from OM system, I will definitely pick the new 9 to 18 millimeter lens. I think that's the lens that aligns the most with my personal philosophy of camera gear. As you already know, I prefer anything that is smaller, lighter, and packs a lot of punch. Please remember that. However, there's just one problem with this new OM system 9 to 18 millimeter lens, and that is the price. It is about 700 US dollars as I check on the websites. And that's a little bit expensive for a lens of this specification. It doesn't have like a image stabilizer, no weather sealing, that kind of stuff. That's kind of expensive. For that price, even for cheaper price, you can get the Panasonic Leica 9mm f1.7 with that large f1.7 aperture. Or if you want to spend just a little bit more, you can get the Panasonic Leica A2 18mm f2.8 to f4, larger aperture, weather sealing, overall nicer lens. But yeah, I still think this is an interesting lens and I really hope to be able to get my hands on it in the future. So yeah, those are all my reaction, my thoughts about these new releases from OM system. This is nothing serious. I just want to share this to you so that you can better understand about my opinions, my thinking about these new releases. And hopefully I will be able to really get my hands on that 9 to 18 millimeter lens. That's the one that I'm most interested in. And yeah, even though I might sound a little bit too positive on the other gear as well, about the OM-1 Mark II or the 150 to 600 millimeter lens, I am personally just glad that there's some development in the Micro Four Thirds world. So that wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video. Goodbye.